Welcome to the Beach Bucket Podcast, coming to you from Ocean City, New Jersey, where we talk about all things Jersey Shore and interview local business owners, luminaries, and legends. And as always, discuss our favorite local restaurants and who's got the best slice, the best cup of coffee, and breakfast on the island. So get comfortable and welcome to this episode of the Beach Bucket Podcast. Welcome to the Beach Bucket Podcast, and today we welcome Stephane Charbonneau, General Manager and Coach over at Iceworks Hockey Rink in Aston, Pennsylvania. Stephane is a retired professional ice hockey player. Stephane, let's talk hockey. Tell us about your professional career.
Yes. I play a couple games with the Quebec Nordiques. I was under contract for 3 years with them. I also play in the minors and in the American Hockey League. And that was the best time of my life. 20 years old, playing a National Hockey League, where you're from, in front of 20,000 people. That was very emotional. I remember like it was yesterday, to be honest with you. And after that, I did, I played 7 years pro total. I signed with the Washington Capitals. I played American League. And I signed with the LA Kings in Los Angeles, and I play in Phoenix, Arizona, their minor team also. I played with the great Wayne Gretzky. I played with a lot of good players in my life, so that was some great memories I have.
Really?
If you see Wayne Gretzky in the drugstore, you won't even know it's Wayne Gretzky. He's just a normal man, small guy, just a superman, super professional. You'll be surprised.
Well, now you are from Canada. Now, did you grow up playing hockey? Is that how it all started for you?
Yes, I remember my mom put, in Montreal, in Canada, we have outside rinks, so it's free to skate. The township have all these rinks outside because it's cold enough to belt ice. And my mom put me on the ice with a chair when I was 4 years old and just go skate, push the chair around and go skate. And that's how I learned, and been nonstop since that time.
And when did you know hockey was your sport?
You know what? I that's all I did. That's all I knew, to be honest with you. I mean, I was pretty good at other sports. I played baseball, soccer, football. But in Canada, obviously, hockey is a big part. I mean, the national sport, it's really lacrosse, but hockey is a big part. And where I'm from, that's all we did. And I was, after school, weekends, I would be there for hours and hours practicing. And, I was lucky because I didn't have to spend $400 an hour to get ice time. I could do it for free. And the more you practice, the better you get. Sure.
Now, as you were growing up and as you were playing, was hockey accessible to all kids? Because it seems like in America, certainly when I was growing up, there weren't opportunities to play.
Well, not these days around here. I mean, there's so many ice rinks. There's tons. So kids are allowed to play and have a chance to play. Now the only problem is it's very expensive. So not every parents can afford to have their kids play hockey. You can spend $20,000 on a hockey team in one season when you play higher level hockey in the youth level. But when I was young, we did have chances. We had a lot of rinks in Canada, and I was lucky because I love to do it. My parents were not rich, but they brought me where I'm supposed to be at and show up on a schedule and go play hockey and come back home and go do something else. So I was very fortunate that I was able to join the leagues and play hockey and do some camps and different things.
Mm-hmm. Were you a competitive kid?
I was, but I was not very good, to be honest with you. I never played high-level hockey till I reached midget AAA, and I was 16, 15 years old. I played 1 year. The players I play with, they're still joking about this. I was a fourth-line player, barely played. But the only thing I was always in great shape, and coaches always recognized that, believe it or not. And that counts as an athlete, as a hockey player. Is one thing I did is train all my life, and it really helped me. It made me pass guys that was better than me because there's a certain level when you want to play pro hockey. Everybody's good, but whoever trains the most, who's in better shape, who listens the most, sacrifices the most for his teammate. That's what coaches want, to be honest with you.
What kind of player were you?
No, I was a goal scorer all my life. I started to be good, to be honest with you, at 19 years old. My body kind of got bigger because they told me I was too skinny. I was tall, and my body just grew. And because I trained so hard to prove to everybody that I can make it. And 19 years old, that's where I started for me, my hockey. I knew that I was going pro at that time. I'll tell you a story. It's so funny. My coach in juniors, we were going to playoffs, and he called me in the office, and he guaranteed me that in my agent talk, and I will have a contract offer by the end of the year in the NHL. And I was 19 years old.
Did you believe him?
No. So he gave me a check of $10,000. He said, if you don't sign a contract, you can keep it. I said, no problem. So didn't want me to sign at that time, so I stay focused for the playoffs. So my last game in the playoffs, the whole organization in the Quebec Northeast, the coaching staff, the scouts, the general manager, my agent, my family all knew, and they came to meet me in a room and made me sign my contract. And I was pretty, that was a one of a lifetime. That was pretty awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, in doing my research, in addition to Googling you, I went on YouTube and looked up your name, Stephane Charbonneau, and hockey fights. And I found you in fact, I found a page of hockey fights. You weren't afraid to mix it up a little bit there.
Well, I was not the toughest guy. The problem is, I was a tall guy. When you're 6'2" and 200 pounds, if somebody kind of go after your center, who's a skilled player, you kind of have to defend them. So I was a right winger. I was a shooter. I was a goal scorer. I took the body. But I was a goal scorer. I scored. So, but sometimes I would drop the glove a couple of times. I would get beat up, and sometimes I beat up people. But I think I got beat up a lot more than I beat up people. But you know what? It's part of the game. Sometimes it gets you in the game. And another story. It's fun. You always have stories what hockey is. In juniors, we're in a playoff in a championship game, best of 7. I'm sorry, and a player was shadowing me. And my coach was Alain Vigneault, used to be the coach for the Flyers a couple of years ago. He said, Charbo, I want you to drop the glove before the puck drops, and it will leave you alone for the rest of the series. And he did. So that's another good story. I remember these little things, and I tell my kids on my team, but you don't want to say that about fighting to these young kids here, but that was just stories I had. Now,
I saw in one of the clips, Charbonneau versus Charbonneau fight. Now, did you ever get in a fight with one of your siblings?
No, but that guy was a Charbonneau, and he was a tough guy, and he gave it to me pretty good. He always chased me around. He was a really tough guy. I think his head was bigger than my body, but no, he gave it to me. He was chasing me around, and I don't know if people understand, but it's tough to fight on the ice. I can't imagine do that for a living, because when you do a shift for 30, 40 seconds and you have to drop your gloves and you have to grab somebody and start swinging, it's very tough. Let me tell you something. You're not on shoes, remember, you're on skates.
Sure.
So, but yeah, that Charbonneau guy chased me around a couple of times.
Well, I was thinking, my gosh, is this his brother? Is this his cousin? Who's he dropping gloves with here?
No. So every team I kind of played, they always has a skill player that can find me the puck, find me where I'm at. I would get open and I was a shooter, you know what? And, I love to shoot, and I still love to shoot at this point, because I shot so many pucks when I was young in practices by myself in my street, hitting garbage cans, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all they call me. My nickname was Top Shelf. So I like to go top shelf. I do have a trophy from the American leagues at Top Shelf Charbonneau. I always got to remember that. It's fun. Guys kind of find new nicknames and different things. So
nice. Now, as a coach, what age group?
Well, I coach every levels. I coach I'm the president of the Philadelphia Local Flyers, and I was coaching them for years. I coach high school also. So I really like to give example to my players about stories I played in. And sometimes I repeat the same one. And at the end of the year, when we do a banquet, they kind of make fun of me with my stories and the way I talk. And, and I'm kind of fired up when I coach. I get very excited because when you played, you understand what's going on. Not that I'm better than anybody else, but I understand what's going on the ice. And, I get fired up, and then my players get fired up, and we play hard. And I don't really care about winning or losing, to be honest with you. I just want my guys to compete. And when you compete hard, good things happen.
Now, when you have kids come in, what skills do you find out? And I guess it depends on the age group, but what do they generally need to work on? The skating, the stick skills?
So there's two ways. So my high school team, they have to go to the school I coach to. So I cannot pick guys from all over the place. So whatever I have to deal with and be a coach and teach them. Now my travel team that I used to coach, you pick what kind of players you're looking for. You want guys that works hard, that guys are committed, not just in season, off season, because the training is the most important part. Guys will do whatever for the team, and who listens the most. And they're the one who's going to make it. Can't guarantee people because people want you to guarantee they're going to play NCAA, Division I and play pro hockey. No, you can't say that to people. But you know what? Everybody can play in college. There's room for everybody. And I tell them education is first, hockey's second. And if you can do both, God bless you. And after that, things happen. Who knows? You might not like hockey when you're 17, 18, 19 years old. You might have a girlfriend. You might want to party. It's not for everybody. There's a decision you have to make as a young man. And at that point is you want to play hockey or not. And that's where your commitment is.
Do you find the kids that you're coaching, do you have to motivate them or are they coming in ready to play?
You know what? It's getting tougher and tougher these days. To motivate some kids because they have so many things. Their phone, cars, they have girlfriends, they want to go party, and the distraction in this world, it's very difficult for a kid to really focus, to be honest with you. Too many options, and I tell them, don't go home and sit in a computer for 3 hours. Sit down on the floor and stretch instead and do your homework. Right? So we kind of try to help these guys because let me explain to you, if you don't train and you don't do extra more than anybody else, it's going to be very tough to make it in the future.
Now, I've got to imagine when I was younger, you got home from school and I played basketball. I was a scholarship athlete. I got home from school and the first thing I did was change my clothes, go outside and shoot baskets. And I did that until dinner was ready. And then when dinner was done, I went out and shot some more baskets until it was dark and I had to come in. That's the way it was.
Exactly my point. That was same for me. That's why some do it and you can tell and some doesn't do it. And I'll give you an example. My high school team, half of my team plays for travel hockey also, and some doesn't. And the one that doesn't, they don't do no extra. So they skate 1 day a week and they play a game on a Friday night. And they're not going to get better. They're not in shape. They're not going to be excited. They won't get better. They won't have the hands. They won't be able to shoot right. My travel guys that practice 3 days a week, they're the one who dominates, work hard, and they're the one who deserve to play on the ice more. That's the bottom line. And I warned them in our summer camp in June, here's the deal. If you don't play club hockey, you better do extra. You better get running. You better do push-up setups. Go to the gym. Do something extra. If not, it will catch up on you. And it does. So,
well, then my question is, how do you balance that with, okay, do you give more playing time to the kids that are working harder, or are you giving equal ice time to everybody?
No, there's no equal ice time. It's just there's no equal ice time. You have to earn it. And some guys, who doesn't play travel hockey, it's okay because they cannot afford it. So I don't put that against them. But they're the one who's going to do extra because they don't have luxury to play club hockey. So I've tried. What I do is when we start the season, I made it even for everybody, and after that, it kind of drops, and a piece of puzzle goes in its own little places here, and it's fairly easy. And they cannot fight me back because it shows. Everything is videoed. We see everything. I tell my kids, if we don't play a good game, go home tonight. Look on Live Barn. This is a thing that you can pay $40 a month, and you can watch your game, and take a look, and let me know if you did your job. And that's the bottom line. Nobody can cheat me, to be honest with you, because I know what's going on. They can cheat the parents if they want to and lie. Well, I didn't play the coach, don't like me, he didn't want to play me. But when you really look at the game, you will be surprised.
How about the parents?
So that's another discussion for another 3 hours, but we'll make it short. It's getting tougher also because when the more people spend money, the more they think they can ask and do. And to be honest with you, I keep my parents distant from me. I meet with them at the start of the season, and I told them, unless there's a big problem, I will say hi to you. We'll have fun. No problem. It's game time. Do not ask me a question about playing time for your kids. Do not ask me why this and why that. Your kid's old enough to answer you at home if he's honest with himself. But the parents are difficult. But now there's new rules in USA Hockey that any parent disturb the game, they get kicked out. They get fined $150. They get suspended for a week for the first time, and after that for a month, and it keeps adding. So it's getting better. But you see in the news, it's crazy. The world is a little crazy right now, and people bring that to the rink. They got frustration, and when you have 10 guys on the ice chasing the little black puck, it gets very exciting, and people get a little fired up, and sometimes too much.
Mm-hmm. It's a good boundary.
But the problem we have is, I don't think a child likes to see his parents get kicked out the rink by security, because the referees are not allowed to start the game till that parent is kicked out. So they're going to see security walk the parent out of the rink, and the kid is on the bench looking at his parents. That's kind of not very good for the kid. So parents try to behave as much as they can, but there's always some special people who like the attention. So
yeah. It's, I imagine, humiliating for the kid. You don't want to see that
very
happen.
Horrible. What
is the most rewarding part of coaching for you?
Well, one guy I coach, he played in the NHL. TJ Brendan, local guy from Morristown, New Jersey. I coached him. When he was 17 years old, his parents came to meet me. They said, Stephane, can you tell me what's going to happen, you think, to my son? I put everything on a piece of paper, from playing junior hockey in Canada to get drafted in the NHL to play pro, and every note that I wrote happened to him. He's one of a kind. I remember when he got drafted first pick by Buffalo Sabres. I was at my parents in Montreal, and he called me. He said, Coach, I just got drafted. That was unbelievable. So we're always going to remember these things. But the best thing for me is I want these kids to be good people. That's the bottom line. Hockey is not everything for everybody. It's a lesson in life. There's discipline. As you have a game on Saturday, well, you don't go out on Friday night. You go to bed, right? And you can tell which one are doing it or not. That's discipline. So I want these kids to grow up, be mature, because one day if they don't play hockey, when they're done college, they'll have discipline, because there's nothing like hockey about discipline. You cannot do whatever you want on the ice. So when you have a job in life, you cannot do whatever you want. So they're prepared. We try to prepare them to deal with adversity, because there's always adversity every 5 minutes when you play a hockey game. And life is nothing but adversity.
And the reality is most of these kids are not going to go on to play professional hockey.
No. And I hate to say that, but that's reality. And you know what? That's why our goal, and my coaches that I train, my younger people, it's about a good experience, because when you finish your season in March and you want your kids to say, I want to play for you again, and you see them in 5 years or 6 years and 7 years, they still come back and see me at the rink and thank me and joke about the stuff I used to tell them. Because sometimes my English don't come out right, and they joke about my stuff. And so that's rewarding to me, just having these guys doing so good in life.
How has hockey prepared you?
Oh, God, everything. I didn't know. I left at 16 years old. I left my house. I know my parents dropped me 5 hours from my house. Took a gamble, dropped me with my 4 luggages, and bye-bye. I'm like, okay. And so everybody was crying. And you know what? That started my life. I mean, my maturity level in 1 year, like, you cannot believe it. You have to do your own wash. You have to do your things. And you know what? There's one thing I did miss: my family. But that was my dream. And I followed my dream, and it worked out really good for me. I never thought I would play in the NHL, but that was my dream. I never quit. There's many people that I knew with agents and limousine and all these things, and say, oh yeah, we're going to get drafted. And I played in the NHL before a lot of them, because my family are very blue collar people. We're not show off. We don't talk to other people about this and that and that. We just go with what we have. And, that was the biggest thing in the world, and it helped me in life. I mean, I have a big job. I have a lot of employees under me. I got 100 employees under me, and you know what? It helps me to be a leader. And a leader, it's tough to find a good leader. It's not easy, because you have to deal with a lot of people. And again, it's adversity every day. I got something new at the rink, and sometimes you get frustrated. You need to sit down and back off a little bit and regroup and do your things. Hockey is all about that.
Mm-hmm. Now you have a daughter who was a scholarship athlete. She is graduating. this year?
Next year. She has one more year.
Okay, she has one more year
Yep.
and played field hockey at Westchester.
Yep.
And how has that been, not being her coach, but being her father?
And that's a really good question. You know what? I try to stay away as much as I could. I let her do her things. I try to help her a lot of times. Sometimes they don't listen because they think they know everything, because I was the same way. But you know what? My daughter, after 4 years, she won a national championship. She went to a championship and another championship, lost. So she has hardware. She didn't play all the time. But let me tell you, it's just like me in my life. When I play hockey, I didn't play all the time. And I tell her every time, when you don't play, you watch your better players and learn from it. You don't complain. And it's tough not to complain, right? To be negative. So that made her so tough. She learned so much. When she started, she couldn't even look at her coach because she was terrified. And now her coach asked her to be her assistant coach next year. So it's a learning process. She, a lot like me with sports, Jacqueline is hardcore, and it's black or white. It's this or you don't want that. And she's going to be a great coach. She's going to be a phys ed teacher, and she wants to be a coach also when she's going to be whatever school she's going to be. So now she's going right to college and be a coach. I told her that's the best thing that could possibly happen to you for your resume in your future, and she'll be a great coach.
Mm-hmm. She will. Because
she hears me. When she was little, she would come on the bench with me all these years coaching my kids. She was always at the rink, so she knows, what to do and how to handle people.
Let's talk a little bit about Iceworks. Now, I know in addition to hockey, they have lots of other offerings. What are some of those?
Well, we have public skating. That's our biggest attraction at the rink. I mean, we have 300 people on Friday night. It's like, it's awesome. During the holidays, we have tournaments. We do 30 tournaments a year. We have 300 figure skaters in our program. We do figure skating shows. We have major competitions. We did curling before, but we're so busy with hockey that we don't have time. We don't have a room to do curling. We have girls hockey, boys hockey. We have 55 adults, men's league playing at our rink. They play till 1 o'clock in the morning. They go to our pub after. We have a full pub there. We have a full gym that one of my former player came back, play NCAA, play pro hockey, and he runs the gym at our rink and train our people. So they all come back and they enjoy our place. And I mean, we have 4 ice rinks, 2 restaurants, and a full gym. It's a pretty big place.
Wow. And that's in Aston, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Aston, PA, yeah.
Now, curling, boy, has that come on strong in the United States.
So curling, I can tell you right now, we had nationals maybe 7 years ago. They're the people who drink the most I've ever seen in my life. I'm not supposed to say that, but that was unreal. We're national curling, and that's the most we've ever seen. But, people say they're not athletes. They're wrong, because anybody can go try curling. First of all, they're very heavy to carry around, can barely lift them.
How much do they weigh?
I think they weigh like 50 pounds or maybe even more.
Really?
They're very heavy. Also, you have to be super flexible and super fit. And look at the Olympics now. This is unreal.
Yeah, curling came out of nowhere, and I have to say, it is so entertaining to watch.
It's unbelievable. That was the time of our lives when we did it. I mean, the U.S. National Curling Committee bring their own Zamboni, a mini Zamboni. They do their own stuff. They're specialists. There's a way to do their ice. It's unreal. It's unreal. We wish we can do it. I think we're putting a bid for national curling in a couple of years from now to get it back there at our rink. But it's pretty cool.
Now, what is harder, like throwing what do you call it?
Well, you throw in the rock. They call it the rock.
Okay,
right? So
the rock, and then you have the
broom.
Sweeper, the
broom.
broom.
The sweepers. So when you throw the rock, it has to be like super soft. You have to have a certain skills, because if you go too hard, it goes all over the place. Don't go too hard. Your sweeper has to go harder. Now, again, it's about the skills. It's like a center in ice hockey. They have skills. The sweepers are the wingers. They're the hard people, grinder. They sweep to control where the rock's going to go. It's pretty amazing, to be honest with you.
What would you rather be, a sweeper or throw the rock?
I think I would rather be a sweeper at this point. I'm not that flexible anymore.
I think I'd rather sit on the side.
Yeah, that's right. Have a beer. Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, as an Ocean City local, I've got to ask you a few food questions. Best pizza in town? Express.
I got Express.
Express. I can tell where you're pointing.
First of all, it's close to us, and that's my favorite pizza. I just love it.
You like the what is it? The base.
I like the whatever you call it, their pizza there. I don't remember what's the bottom of the pizza, but it's something different. I love it, and it's close to me. I can just walk there and get it.
And it has that like cornmeal or something.
Yeah. That's right.
On the base. It's good.
Corn. Yeah.
Best breakfast.
I really enjoy to go to Hooked on Breakfast.
Hooked on breakfast.
Yeah, they have these bites, scrapple bites, and they're not healthy for you, but it's the best I ever had in my life.
Scrapple bites, nice.
It's unreal. Yeah.
Seafood.
We like to go to Mike's in Seattle, but we go to Ocean City here, the Crab Trap.
Crab Trap.
Yeah,
Can't
Crab
go
Trap
wrong.
right there. You can't go wrong. Everybody's there, but you have to wait so long. There's so many people all the time. But it's the best place around.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. If you were going out to dinner, Crab Trap?
Probably. To go to Egg Harbor Township, to go to Carluccio's, that's our best place.
Is that pizza?
A pizza place. It's unreal.
I haven't tried that.
Oh, my God. It is something different.
Is it?
The food, the pizzas is nothing like it, but you have to drive to go there, but it's amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
Okay. And I'm gonna ask a Canadian question. What is poutine?
So poutine, I tell my restaurant, my chef at our rink to do it all the time, and they're fighting me because it's very difficult to get the cheese here. There's a lady in the USA in Wisconsin who has the license to sell that cheese from Canada. She's the only one. It's a special crunchy cheese that you put in your poutine. So you have your French fries, your brown gravy, and you put that cheese. But that cheese doesn't melt. It stays in pieces, and it's crunchy when you bite it. It is a dream. And I try to get the guy on the boardwalk in Ocean City. He's from Montreal, and he doesn't do it, and I'm not sure why. Curly Fries, he's from Montreal. And I asked them before, and they said they tried before, it didn't work. So poutine is the main thing in Canada. When you eat a hot dog, you have to get a poutine.
Oh, you put it on hot dogs?
No. When you eat a hot dog, you have to have a poutine on the side.
Oh,
it's a French fry with gravy and cheese on it.
Poutine?
Poutine.
Okay.
It's a curd cheese. It's a curd cheese.
And it stays crispy.
No, it's mushy.
It's mushy.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
it's
now
really
I know.
good.
Now I know.
Yeah, it's really good. I'll have my family bring some cheese this summer when you come here.
Oh, absolutely.
So we can try it.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome.
Well, thank you for being on the Beach Bucket Podcast.
My pleasure. That was awesome. And anytime you need me to talk about my life, I'm more than happy to discuss.
We'll have you back soon.
All right, thanks, Gretchen.
Thank you, Stephane.
All right.